The stairs up to my attic are narrow and steep. The fifth step is loose and wobbles when you stand on it. All the other stairs creak and groan. My whole house creaks and groans. It's a big old house, and it's kind of fallen apart. Mom and Dad don't really have the money to repair it. "Trina, hurry," my brother Dan whispered. His words echoed in the steep attic stairwell. Dan is 10, and he's always in a hurry. He's short and very skinny. I think he looks like a mouse. He has short brown hair, dark eyes, and a pointy little chin, and he's always scurrying around like a mouse, searching for a place to hide. Sometimes I call him Mouse, like a nickname. Dan hates it, so I only call him Mouse when I want to make him mad. Dan and I don't look at all like brother and sister. I'm tall, with curly red hair and green eyes. I'm a little chubby, but Mom says not to worry about it. She thinks I'll slim down by the time I turn 13 next August. Anyway, no one would ever call me Mouse. For one thing, I'm a lot braver than Dan. You have to be brave to go up to our attic. Not because of the creaking stairs, or the way the wind whistles through the attic windows and makes the panes rattle. Not because of the dim light up there, or the shadows, or the low ceiling covered with cracks. You have to be brave because of the eyes. The dozens of eyes that stare at you through the darkness. The eyes that never blink, the eyes that stare with such eerie, heavy silence. Dan reached the attic ahead of me. I heard him take a few steps over the squeaking wooden floorboards. Then I heard him stop. I knew why he stopped. He was staring back at the eyes, at the grinning faces. I crept up behind him, moving on tiptoe. I leaned my face close to his ear and shouted, "Boo!" He didn't jump. "Trina, you're about as funny as a wet sponge," he said, shoving me away. "I think wet sponges are funny," I replied. I admit it, I like to annoy him. "Give me a break," Dan muttered. I grabbed his arm. "Okay." I pretended to break it in two. I know it's dumb, but that's the way my brother and I kid around all the time. Dad says we didn't get our sense of humor from him, but I think we probably did. Dad owns a little camera store now, but before that he was a ventriloquist. He did a comedy act with a dummy, Danny Odell and Wilbur. That was the name of the act. Wilbur was the dummy, in case you didn't guess it. Danny Odell is my dad. My brother is Dan Jr., but he hates the word junior, so no one ever calls him that, except me, when I want to make him really mad. "Someone left the attic light on," Dan said, pointing to the ceiling light. "The only light in the whole attic. Our attic is one big room. There are windows at both ends, but they are caked with dust, so not much light gets through." Dan and I made our way across the room. The dummies all stared at us, their eyes big and blank. Most of them had wide grins on their wooden faces. Some of their mouths hung open. Some of their heads tilted down so we couldn't see their faces. Wilbur, Dad's first dummy, the original Wilbur, was perched on an old armchair, his hands draped over the chair arms, his head tilted against the chair back. Dan laughed. "Wilbur looks just like Dad taking a nap." I laughed too. With his short brown hair, black eyeglasses, and goofy grin, Wilbur looked a lot like Dad. The old dummy's black and yellow check sports jacket was worn and frayed, but Wilbur's face was freshly painted. His black leather shoes were shiny. One wooden hand had part of the thumb chipped out, but Wilbur looked great for such an old dummy. Dad keeps all of the dummies in good shape. He calls the attic his dummy museum. Spread around the room are a dozen old ventriloquist dummies that he has collected. He spends all of his spare time fixing them up, painting them, giving them fresh wigs, making new suits and pants for them, and working on their insides to make sure their eyes and mouths move correctly.